This thing should be spinning up. Hey, there we go.
Oh, no,
Hey, it's on.
hey,
Hey,
we've been live for 2 minutes.
I know. And then, they missed all the good stuff, but we'll get back to what we can get to.
Okay.
Well, welcome you all to Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts, our first curtain call. This is the inaugural episode. My name's Mark Stretch. I'm kind of the digital guy over there. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
All right. Well, I'll
first.
start. They say I'm a lady, so I'll go. My name is Ryan Nicole, and I am co-producer, co-founder of Co-Founders the Musical and of All People Powered, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. I want to kick it to my co-conspirator, Beau, up there.
me, Beau Lewis, also co-writer, co-creator, co-producers, all the co's, so many co's of co-founders, all people powered, here with Ryan. And we are unfortunately not able to have our third co-founder, Adesha, who we can tell you all about as well.
Indeed.
Nice. Well, as you've mentioned, you guys are the founders, creators of something called Co-Founders the Musical. And for those of us that are on and are greatly anticipating this project, can one of you explain kind of the nexus of it, the essence of it, what we're looking at and what makes it different?
Yeah. Well, so let me give you a bit of origin story, and I'll be as quick as I possibly can. Co-Founders the Musical started actually 10 years ago with Beau, and he'd probably be best to give you the origin story of that. But it started as a freestyle cipher. It grew into a world premiere, sold out hit musical that premiered in San Francisco last summer. Just not even a full year ago. It's crazy, but we had this show at the American Conservatory Theater, 40 shows, 6 weeks, all sold out run, tickets going for 4 figures on the secondary market. Like it was a hit. It is a hit. I hate to talk in past tense about it. And within that show, we had some really cool elements. So one of those elements was a fictitious accelerator called the All People Powered Accelerator that our protagonist, Asada Thompson, created. Now, an accelerator is basically a boot camp for business that gets your business off the ground and gets it to market as quickly as possible, with the support of mentorship and all of that. And so in our show, Asada Thompson, our protagonist, creates the All People Powered Accelerator to rival what the typical accelerator experience can be like, which is generally, kind of well-heeled, well-to-do, well-resourced, well-connected founders getting a shot at building business, but leaving so many other people kind of in the dust. And so she created one for the so many other people, the 99%. And we are taking that accelerator and we are making it real. We're bringing it, thankfully, to the Henry J. Kaiser Theater. We're so grateful for your partnership. We're bringing it there on April 11th in the afternoon. It's a family-friendly show. It's going to have music. It's going to have a live pitch competition featuring 3 first-time founders, where we'll give them their share of $30,000 live on stage. So pretty epic.
Nice. So I guess I would make you guys the MVP of the MVPs, right? Like, you guys have used that yet? Feel free. That's all you do.
I like it. Write it down.
Well, it depends. Is it minimum viable product of the minimum viable product?
That's a good call.
It's a lot of acronyms, a lot of slang and jargon here between tech, culture, hip hop. Like we're always trying to break it down. Let people in.
I'll take most valuable people. I'll take that one.
Oh, see, that's what happens. You put a lyricist in charge of things. I go. I understand. It looks like Adesha is joining us.
Oh boy. Yay.
All right.
Oh, good. We felt like a stool with 2 legs. So this is awesome.
Hey, Adesha, can you hear us?
She'll be joining. She's probably learning a bit about this platform, but unclick the mic symbol and the camera symbol down at the bottom of your screen, Adesha. It'll be like on the bottom center of your screen. But while we're waiting for her to come online, maybe Beau can help fill out what I said and tell you a bit more about how co-founders started.
Happy to. Yeah. So, I mean, the first version, oh my God, we're on version 15 now of the show. Wow.
Oh my God.
So many revisions in a decade. Still going, still fired up about what this is and what it will become in the future. But yeah, the first version really started as a weekly therapy group, to be honest. It was 4 friends who had some startup dreams and were trying to build companies and pretending like things were going better than they were, and really just like afraid of letting everybody down, letting themselves down. This is the founder's trap. There's a lot of people in the Bay, a lot of people around the world have an idea, a dream to chase, and then, push in behind it. And, oh, can I convince my friends to maybe help me with this, my mom to like give me a couple dollars to start this thing. And, you kind of put the world on your shoulders with this dream and this idea to try to make something out of nothing. And, there's a lot of dreamers like that in the Bay in terms of arts, in terms of business, founders. And, that's really one of the things this show celebrated and continues to celebrate, is that culture of creating something out of nothing. Some people call it hustle, entrepreneurs. The Bay's got all of it. So this show started as a weekly therapy session where we would freestyle rap about the problems we were having with our startups. And so that was kind of a safe place in a circle, to be honest, where put on some music and you don't know what you're going to say, but just share vulnerably about this week's impossible problem that you're trying to make real. And so that happened once a week. Mark, we were talking about this before, that like community effect of creating something together with music. It took root. We started doing on Tuesdays. We called it Rhyme Combinator. And Rhyme Combinator is a play on Y Combinator, which is one of the most elite startup accelerators that's in the Bay in Silicon Valley. Companies like Airbnb and Dropbox came out of Y Combinator. Sam Altman from OpenAI was the president of Y Combinator. So really like the creme de la creme of kind of startups. So we called it Rhyme Combinator. And every week we get together and rap about it, our startup failures, to be honest. And after a year, we had just kind of diaries worth of a fictitious story about a couple people chasing a dream in the Valley. And that became the seed for the first version of Co-Founders, which was actually called Zip Sloth, the musical, which Adesha has some really good stories about when she comes in. We made a lot of mistakes. We still are. And that's part of the beauty is continuing to charge straight through failure and then get up and keep iterating. And so, that was the first version. And here we are with All People Powered, a whole new show. Wow, a whole new actually startup platform. It's crazy that has grown out of this.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's bigger than a show. It's making the mission and an element in the show real, which is so amazing that we have this opportunity. Thanks to the sponsorship, thanks to the support of the mayor. Honestly, like we had our world premiere in San Francisco, and it was great. And the mayor came twice. She came the first time, like immediately after she was inaugurated, and then she was like, "Oh my God, I got to come back," because at the time, I mean, I think she enjoyed the show, but also at the time, Oakland was fighting, the city council was fighting to determine whether or not they were going to keep the cultural affairs management position and cultural affairs budget intact. As you know, there are many needs in Oakland, and, any dollar that you could throw to road work or, public safety, they're going to reallocate. And oftentimes culture is the first thing on the chopping block. But she came and saw our show, right? She came and saw our show, and then she brought the council members to the show. And the council members saw the show, and they saw, how many solutions were being posited on stage from community members, the people in the audience. How many ideas that we had created just kind of in our script. They saw how the dollar was circulating in that hyper local community. And they saw a story about Oakland, to be honest, that is true, right? Like, even though the characters are fictitious, even though, the accelerators that we created were fictitious. The story is real. It's a story about chasing entrepreneurial dreams. It's a story about gentrification. It's a story about saving the legacy and the history that that we all know and love, you know, in our region, and about our families and our origin stories. And they really resonated with that. And ultimately what came of that, and I wouldn't take full credit for it, but, you know, within a week after seeing our show, they reinstated the cultural affairs management position in Oakland, on the same day that they gave us a mayoral proclamation. And I do believe that we were the tipping point, you know, after many years and months of activists coming together and advocating for the restoration of the cultural affairs budget. You know, we were just kind of that demonstration of what Oakland arts and culture does. And so, yeah. So we're bringing it to Oakland.
Yeah. You know, because I think we were all around when we start seeing, you know, the arts funding started getting clipped away. And we all know how important that is, especially in a place like Oakland, right?
That's
Oakland
right.
is super. It's. I don't think that a lot of people understand how important the arts are to Oakland specifically. Like when it comes to anything, whether it's music or visual arts or dance, like so much of what the world sees begins in a place like Oakland, right? We see everybody taking the slang, taking the style, and adapting it in their areas, that's fine, that's great, but you know, you have to feed into where it came from. And you know, I proudly like to say that, you know, Oakland is the source of a lot of what happens around here.
Right on. And you know, we get our credit when credit is absolutely due. You know, I'm so grateful for the people who have put the town on their back and are shouting out the town, you know, at the highest places, or the highest achievements in their careers. So you look at Alyssa Liu, who popped her collar, you know, at the Olympics, and you look at Kaylani, who shouted out Oakland on the Grammy stage as she was receiving her awards, and Ryan Coogler, who, you know, the first 3 words out of his mouth was, "I'm from Oakland and Richmond," and we talk a lot. You know, they never forget to mention, you know, this city, and there are so many more, Shanaka Hodge and Jane Hancock, and you know, people that are contemporaries that are doing great things right now. And you know, it's just a demonstration of what Oakland has always been about, and what we create. And the same is true about business and innovation, you know, in other arenas, certainly politically, and in other industries as well.
Yeah, that's a through line that Co-Founders has always been interested in. It's attention, and also an unexpected commonality, is what is that culture of innovation that comes from the Bay, with the East Bay, Oakland as an epicenter, and you know, Silicon Valley as an epicenter, and how do those forces push and pull each other, drive each other, and what's possible positive creation, if and when those forces can come together with the right guidelines that benefit the people. And so that's something where you look at it. Yeah, you expand the aperture a little on innovation coming out of Oakland and out of the East Bay, and all of a sudden you're talking about the 3-ball, you know, the Warriors. You're talking about looking at stats, playing the underdog game. You know, that's the thing, right? Like that sort of resilience, that sort of analytical mind and willingness to break down a problem and attack it in a new way is what creates solutions that then the rest of the league follows. You look at also, you know, things that happen in a garage or out of a trunk in the East Bay. You know, you look at pioneering sales directly to your consumer. You look at Too Short. You look at JT the Bigga Figga. At the same time, they were selling tapes out of their trunks. Woz and Jobs were selling computers out of their garage down in the South Bay. And so that culture of creation, yes, in the arts, yes, in business, yes, with the Panthers, yes, with social program innovation. That's all endemic to this region. And All People Powered is a celebration of that. And Co-Founders is a celebration of that.
Absolutely. And like we were talking, you know, beforehand, where we're talking about the youth being unafraid and really being open to creativity and following different lanes. Like you can see that stacking upon generations. And, you know, that's really how we got here, right? With all the innovation that happens in Silicon Valley, with all of the, I mean, I was around for the .com bubble, so
yeah,
you know, it's .com, like
which one?
wow.
Yeah,
right.
that time was, it was like, not, it was the Wild West. Anything that you thought of, there was somebody you could get with, and you guys could try to build that into something and bring it into fruition. And that's continued. And that's one of the things that makes the Bay so special.
That's right? It. I mean, and we don't ask for permission. That's really what it is. The Bay never asks for permission to create the thing that's in their mind. They just go out and do it, and for better or for worse, but most times it ends up being for the better, because, innovation is something that I think crosses aisles, and, because it's such a value in the Bay Area, we reach across. We work with people who don't look like us. We talk to other people because we want to improve our idea, our product, or whatever imagination that we have. We know inherently that it requires collaboration from all kinds of people, right?
Yep. And specifically, yes, and it requires an outside perspective. Right. And that has always been the key of challenging an existing system and improving upon it, is you need the people who are on the outside of those margins, who have new and different ideas. And like, tech has become a monolith, has become synonymous with a lot of greed, a lot of anxiety about the future and technology and consolidation of wealth, all of which is warranted. We also I sometimes forget that a lot of those very companies started from an ethos of trying to challenge a big incumbent system. And these were outsiders, these were nerds who had a vision of how something could be different. And that's really underneath it, the kernel, like the spirit of this.
That's right.
Absolutely. Right. Well, speaking on that, with people being willing to jump out without giving away too much, what was it that stood out about the three different entities that you've chosen to do this live pitch?
Sure. I'll start with a couple. I'll start with them. So let me just, again, zoom back a bit. We had over 100 applicants apply to this accelerator, this first time all people powered accelerator. People saw an opportunity, were extremely excited and enthusiastic about those folks who submitted. And it took a long time to really vet who would be the best person, the best three people on this particular stage. It's a very unique stage. It's one that optimizes performance and optimizes, an ability to grab the audience and galvanize large swaths of different types of people. And so a commonality amongst the three different founders that we have here is that they will be able to capture the audience, that they will be able to speak to kind of a general audience. Some tech solutions and business solutions are really niche, and they're really about a particular subset or a particular solution that they're trying to solve. These solutions are ones that I think everybody can wrap their mind around. One of them is called Finny. It is a financial tech solution for students seeking fiscal support to get into college. So, Finny is an AI platform that is leveraging AI to identify scholarships for students who don't otherwise have opportunities to go to school or have a hard time finding resources to get into college. They have the grades, but they don't always have the capital. And there's a lot of money out there that goes unanswered annually. This is something that they taught us, and so they're creating a solution for that.
$100 million worth of grant money that is unclaimed per year that students don't get access to with all the student debt. Yeah, their vision is really that 10 years from now, there should be no student who graduates with student debt. If you can match these resources with these aspiring students, that it's possible, which is really cool. Yeah, that's Chloe and Fatima. Finny, that's one of the three companies.
Yeah, take the next one, Beau.
All good. We'll go back and forth.
I'll alley your oop. Yes.
Hey, let's do it. I'd rather. Yeah, the alley is that the one who's dunking or who's passing?
I don't know.
I've always wanted to dunk, but I can't dunk, and so I'm like, I should be the one who's alleying it to your oop.
All right, you alley, so I can.
Otherwise, if it's 8-foot hoop, I can do the oop. But
okay,
I'll let y'all down. I'll rim check it and fall. Dislocate my shoulder on that one. Second company that we can talk about is called Choice Scores. This is Kev Choice, And this is a amazing innovation for artists and musicians. This is actually a problem that we co-founders are pretty familiar with, as are most musicians, music directors, anyone who has a vision of a song that they want to play that they don't know how to. And so what Choice Scores is doing is they are having a solution that can automate and improve through both human and AI the process of taking a song into its notation and creating charts so a band can play it. So the issue here is you've got a bunch of musicians who hear that song, you know, that Kendrick song, that's the song that they hear on the radio that they want to be able to play. That they don't have access to understanding how to play it, how it gets broken down into instruments. And so they might actually think that music isn't for them. They might think, hey, I've got to play Bach or, you know, the classics that have those charts that are in those music programs. And that actually probably keeps a lot of young people out of learning about music. And then you've got this bottleneck of if and when you do want and are able to take music and transcribe it, the notation, the manual process to get it into the hands of all the instruments. That's a multi-week process, a lot of different people required, a lot of software that is not optimized. And Kev has a solution with his partner to improve that using AI, and also importantly, using training data that they have the rights to. So this is another issue, is how do you ethically use AI and art together to create solutions that benefit from business side as well as the creator side, and do that with the permission, the consent and the compensation of the artists who you're training it on. So they have a big body of work that they're able to use that's theirs, that they have the rights to train this AI so that it is effective at this transcription process. Ryan, I'm sure I'm missing some things there. You want to?
I mean, you hit on all the things, but I think a couple great points that you made are about responsible AI and ethical AI use, and ethical, you know, use of people's intellectual property, which is, you know, another value that we're pushing in on. You know, one of our sponsors is the K4 Center, and they are authoring a language around responsible AI development and deployment. And so we're wholeheartedly supporters of that. We're artists, and we want to make sure that, you know, not only is our art being created and being added upon in an ethical way with permissions and all of that, but we also want to make sure we're not depleting the environment in the process, right? And so there are ethical ways to develop AI. There are ethical ways to deploy it, and our sponsors, our supporters are all about that, as are we. Cool. And then the third, yeah, that's right. We're talking about the founders. So the third founder is Herbal Oracle. Say that 3 times fast. Herbal Oracle. Herbal Oracle is a digital AI-powered kiosk for herbal solutions to medical challenges. So think of, you know, you may have been getting ads for Hers or Hims. You know, the digital solution that delivers you pills for, you know, your bald spot or whatever other issues, you know, perimenopause or whatever, right? Not yours. Got an abundance of hair, I'm sure. But this Herbal Oracle is that, but for naturopathic solutions. So Jazz Hudson is the CEO of that, and she's a medical student. She also has a long history of providing herbal solutions through her company Goddess Butter, which is a homeopathic shea butter operation that she's been running for, I think, a little under 10 years now, where she also was like providing these like herbal solutions within the shea butter, primarily because one of her children had eczema. And she was looking for, you know, some kind of solve for that wasn't in the stores. You couldn't buy over the counter. It wasn't full of chemicals. And that started her down this path of learning about herbs, and then, you know, having family challenges, families with medical challenges. She started becoming more curious and more, unfortunately, involved with the medical system. And the medical system traditional medicine wasn't providing the the comprehensive solutions, or the ancestral solutions, as she would say, to the maladies that they were experiencing. And so she was trying to find kind of a holistic route, and that's led her to create this herbal oracle, which again is, you know, a digital kiosk. So imagine, you know, you say, hey, I've got, you know, I got this runny nose, and you know, these seasonal allergies that are evading all of the Zyrtex and the Claritins and what have you. You know, what can I use? And you type that in, and you type in, you know, some other elements about what you're experiencing, and then you get kicked out a solution, and provided with a way to purchase those herbs that you need. So yeah, those are our 3 founders. We've got Herbal Oracle, Choice Scores, and Finney. We're really excited about supporting them and helping them along their path, and honestly getting them their first check, because you know, it is common knowledge in this industry that until you get your first check, you can't get your second and third and fourth. And so it's really hard for founders, first-time founders, to get that first check. But once they do, it tends to attract other investments, and that's our objective.
Oh, it's awesome, man. That's something that you often see. It's like nobody wants to be the first one to back something, but as soon as one person gives you a cosign, anything can happen after that.
And that's with everything, right? That's like, if your music, is your song slapping? Well, we don't know until somebody on socials goes like, this slaps, and then they go like, yeah, I know it does, I love it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
that herd mentality, that's real. Yeah, we give a lot of respect and credit to anyone who puts their name out there, their reputation on, and says, I believe in this. Who's going to be the person with the courage to say, we believe in this first, and we want to help serve that ecosystem and say, hey, like, we believe in these companies, we believe in these first-time founders.
and to that end, you know, we've got folks who believe in us, and I do want to shout out our supporters.
Please,
you know,
shout out the sponsors.
Yeah, Henry J. Kaiser has come in to support us in real ways. As you know, Mark, you're one of them. And we thank you all so much. The Omidyar Network, K4 Foundation, the Hewlett Foundation, the Doris Duke Foundation, and Google for Startups they've all come in to support this effort, and, you know, being the first to back something that is very unconventional and almost hard to explain, but they get it. They recognize the need for both industries to shift, theater and tech, both of them to be more inclusive of future thinking people, of people with different perspectives and different identities. And we fit that intersection. We're right there at the bleeding edge of that innovation. So we're just grateful for all of y'all supporting us. And the mayor, of course. And the mayor.
You might want to mention the mayor.
Yeah, for whom, you know, none of these people would have gotten behind us.
Thank you, Mayor Barbara Lee.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of the, like, a big cosign, right?
For real.
I think that we were thrilled to be involved. You know, I think as a lot of us that are here out there, we're either in the arts lane or we're in the tech lane. Some of us have a lot of crossover in both of those. So when this project, this event kind of made itself available, I think it was a no-brainer for us. You know, just it made the most sense. I know I wish that there would have been this kind of availability when I was still out there kind of making my bones, whether it be in art or be in tech. So this is just being involved in something that can really just change not just the lives of the funders, but the lives of everybody they touch. I mean, it was just a no-brainer, and we're thrilled to be involved and happy to help in any way we can.
Thanks, Mark.
Amazing. And it's such a beautiful venue. I mean, if this is the thing, like, people might not realize this beautiful historic venue right on Lake Merritt has been restored to the nines, and it's just kind of having its grand opening season right now. And so just, we were touring places. We're like, what's the right home for this? And coming in and seeing that stage, seeing that lake, seeing that building, it's really beautiful. Yeah. So we're really, really feel very lucky to have this opportunity to do this with y'all at that specific community hub in Oakland.
Yeah, I think that's a key term for us, right? Yes, it is a location where you can see shows and you can see musicals, but we do want to be a community hub, right? Yeah. We want to be the place that everybody thinks about when they want to get together with their peoples and they want to touch folks. This is where they go. You know, I know that before I even lived in Oakland, coming to Henry J. Kaiser was a big deal. I saw some very formative hip hop shows there.
What'd you see?
Yeah,
saw the Hit Squad. EPMD.
His squad. Wow.
Hey, Eric and Parrish making dollars. Let's go.
So, like that was a big deal. Like that, I think that was the first show that I went to as an adult where I thought I could possibly even go into that next level of I could participate at that level. You know, I'd seen Wu-Tang at like San Jose State during like a step show. I had the original Protect Your Neck 12 white sleeve.
Hey.
And that was the beginning of it. But I remember when I went to see Hit Squad, it just is different. It was right there in front of you on a big stage, and that changed everything for me. And I talk to people all the time that have had that same experience at Henry J. Kaiser. So.
Literally, my first hip hop concert was at Henry J. Kaiser, and I want to say I like to think it's like right before it closed, but it's not. It was like 20 years before it closed. But I saw MC Hammer at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts, and same thing, like exactly what you're saying. Like I think I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I was right there. I don't know how my dad got us that close, but I was right there at the foot of the stage. And he reached out and I reached up and he touched my hand. And
wow.
Come on.
Yeah. And then when it was bath time, my mom was like, put your hand in the water. And I was like, I will not.
Haven't washed it since.
Exactly. So yeah, but it was a special moment. And yeah, it was completely packed and beautiful moment. And I'll always remember Henry J. Kaiser fondly for that. And then all of us know, you know, we went to the Oratorical Fest. We all have pitched on that stage as, you know, orators at different levels in elementary. And we've all had had to cut our teeth in speech there at the Henry J. Kaiser. Yeah, if you went to OASD.
I mean, yeah, that it's when we think about the history of the building and all the different things, the pageants and the fashion shows, all these things that happen that are instrumental, no pun intended, to what happens here in Oakland. There's so many people that are prominent in the community now. They cut their teeth,
right
doing things, right, which makes it more powerful.
It's true.
Yeah, who's coming next? Imagine who's going to come to this show, who's coming to the shows. Yeah, this is a family event too. I mean, bring the kids. That's part of what's important to us is, Saturday, 2:00. Let's have everybody there.
That's right.
You never know. The 7-year-old Wasp could be sitting in the back.
Who knows? I touched Beau's hand and I'll never watch it.
Sorry. No, and I think it's worth sharing that this is a pitch competition, but like it's also like one you've never seen. So the format, if you've been to what they call a demo day, where you've got a bunch of founders with their PowerPoint decks and their business case and their why, it's amazing. Like it's amazing energy to go to something like that. We had the opportunity of being a part of the Berkeley Sky Deck demo day and 500 startups demo day. But to be honest, like if you're not in that world, it's a lot of back-to-back trying to process information. So what we're doing with this is it's a game show. It's a straight up musical game show with these 3 contestants. And it's a lot of fun. And so one of our goals always is how do we entertain and make this accessible to everybody, not just the people who are used to and want to hear 100 pitches of B2B SaaS. No shade. Those are amazing, amazing events. But like this one will make you laugh. This one will be fun. This one has theatrical performances, including from Ryan, from co-founders. So yeah, the cast will be there from the world premiere, that sold out world premiere. You will see and hear some of the songs and sounds and scenes from co-founders, as well as some sounds from some amazing musicians beyond the cast, including Bosco Conte, who did the musical direction for E40's NPR Tiny Desk with the electro spit. So it'll be a good day of live music and entertainment, regardless of if this startup stuff makes sense to you. And that's our goal and our intention, and the execution. You're gonna love it if you come.
It's real. And if you've seen Shark Tank, if you've seen even half of an episode of Shark Tank, you'll get it. If you've seen, American Idol, you'll get it. Like it's the same kind of premise, same setup. It's very accessible to everyone.
Yes. Well, what would you say that, just for general audience members that are coming by? Obviously, the founders, they want to take away some bread. But if you're just a general audience member, what do you really want them to take from this event?
I personally want them to see themselves as part of this landscape of creators, dropping down into the seriousness of this moment. We cannot afford to not participate in the future as a collective. We all have to come together. We all have to create solutions, and every one of us is capable. Every one of us has an idea. It doesn't mean that everybody has to be a startup entrepreneur, but it does mean that we have to be active participants and producers of the future that we want to have. And right now is that moment, and this is the invitation. All People Powered is the invitation for, and just one modality, right? But the invitation for us all to be thinking about ourselves as active creators of the future that is directly in front of us.
Yeah.
And it could be fun. The future could be fun. It does not have to be dystopian. We don't have to go dark, quietly into that dark night. We can lean into an inspiring, enlightening, accessible, available future for us all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the only future that I want to be involved in. And I know that I know that plenty of us feel the same way, especially with all the different things that we're seeing on our threads and our timelines. It's going crazy. But if we can at least lock in here and change our direction, what happens out there doesn't really matter as much. It's like I talk to people that, yes, politics matter. You can talk about the president, you can talk about those people, but let's start with your councilman. Let's start with your mayor. So influence your nearest space and let it expand from there.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings is think global, act local.
Yep.
And that's what this is about. This is something you can affect right here, right now. And first thing you can affect is your sense of possibility, your sense of, inspiring your ability to change the course of the future. And we have that power.
Absolutely.
All People Powered.
All right. Well, I think we could probably wrap up a little bit. This was supposed to be about like a 10, 12 minute thing.
Sorry, I'm a chatty Kathy. My apologies.
I've worked together before. We both know, like, we get into space, and Beau clearly fits right into that.
Hey,
let's go. What are we talking about? But yeah, we thank you so much for choosing us to partner with. We're really looking forward to the entire event. April 11th, 2 p.m. If you don't know, now you know. Go to hjkarts.com and get your tickets. You want to grab them. This is gonna be big.
Baby.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
You started something, right?
It is. Yes, it is. So let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Mark. If you guys want to plug anything else, please do. But thank you very much.
Allpeoplepower.com. HJK Arts. We'll see you there.
All right. Thank you again.
All right.
Peace.
And I think